Hey guys, this is Veera. Let's talk about how we can create a custom immutable class. Before we start a custom immutable class, try to understand what is a immutable. So immutable means basically once the object is created, that object cannot be modified, or the state of an object cannot be modified. That's nothing but the immutable class. How we can create a custom immutable class? As we know, all the proper classes, for example string, integer and other proper data types are the immutable objects. Let's say I want to create my own immutable objects. How we can create the custom immutable object? For example, I want to create the custom immutable class. So let's make this product itself as the custom immutable. To make the custom immutable class, there are a few steps that we need to follow. First, create the class as the final class so that the class cannot be extended anywhere. That is the step 1. Step 2, create all the variables as the private and final, and create the public constructor, and then create the parameterized constructor int id and string name. Also define something called private final list. Let's say string list and then list string list. This dot id equal to id, this dot name equal to name, this dot list equal to list. So now let's remove all the setters and getters. So this is the step 2. Let's comment the existing one so that we'll not have any compilations. Yeah, so now I created a constructor and also I have all the variables id, name and a list. The list is going to be a list of string. Now the next step, we should not have any kind of setters. We should create only getters. The reason to create only getters, we should not allow the others or whatever the classes are. We are creating an object for the product, so we should not have a permissions to set. Only we should be able to construct it. So let's generate a setters and getters. Let's generate only getters, not a setters. Select all of them and click on OK. Let's go to the let's create a new class called immutable main. Immutable main. Now I'm going to create a main method. Create a product object, product equal to new product. So basically we need to set an id, name and a list. Let's create a variable int I equal to let's say 1 and string name equal to let's say mac, and we need to have the list. It could be any list, so I'm just going to add some list of list list equal to new array list. So this list, I'm just trying to add a category, list of categories, list dot add. Let's say this is a computers category. Let's pass this data to the product constructor id name and then list. Now since we have a getters in the product object, let's try to print the product id, name and list. Id, what is this id? Product dot get id, and then product dot get name, and then product dot get list. That's it. Just try to run and see what happens, and then we'll talk more about how we can say this is the custom immutable object. So now we are printing one Mac and computers. What I will do is I created a product object which has the ID, name and the list. After creating a product object, I'm just trying to modify the data. Let's say I equal to, let's say 2, name equal to, let's say, we'll take a different category. It could be any other item, let's say fan or air conditioner. Now also take the list dot add. Now it's electrical or luxury. Now let's try to run and see what's going to happen now. So now we can see, so the ID and name is not modified, but if you see, the list is modified, even though we just have the one particular items that's supposed to be added into the immutable collection, but still this particular object is modifying. So this is not the immutable behavior. So how we can make the immutable behavior? So instead of creating the assigning the list directly, what we do is we create a temporary list and assign it to this particular list. How we can do that? So let's iterate this particular list, string str list, and then let's create another list object, that is the temporary list object. Temp list equal to new array list. Now temp list dot add of string. So now here pass the temporary list. Do the same thing in the getter method as well, because we should not have any kind of conflicts. So now just to return the temporary list. Now if I try to run this, we should get only the computers. Now we can see this is what basically the immutable object. It doesn't mean that whenever you try to make the class as a final and the fields as a final variables and just creating a private public constructor and get us, it doesn't make the fully immutable object. So we have to think about other scenarios. For example, the collections, it could be list or map or anything. So we should be able to solve that issue as well by just creating a temporary list and assign it to them. This is nothing but the custom immutable class. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please do subscribe.